Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep today into something
Oh, yeah.
I think you'll find fascinating. The contagious nature of positivity.
Interesting.
Why do good vibes seem to spread
Yeah.
from person to person? We'll be drawing on some pretty interesting stuff today.
Okay.
Psychology, neuroscience,
Nice.
even a little bit of ancient philosophy.
Awesome.
Our source material today is an excerpt from an article called Why Being Positive is Contagious, the Science Behind Good Actions.
Right.
So get ready.
Cool.
Because this deep dive might just inspire you to become a walking beacon
Oh, wow.
of good vibes.
That's a great goal. I think a lot of times we don't
Yeah.
really fully grasp how much our emotions can impact those around us, especially when it comes to positive feelings.
Right.
It's not just about us feeling good.
Yeah.
That we create this ripple effect
I love that.
that goes out and touches everyone we interact with.
A ripple effect of good vibes. Okay, so the article jumps right into the science,
Right.
and it's kind of mind-blowing.
Right.
Did you know that when we experience positive emotions, our brains release these things
Yeah.
called neurotransmitters,
Right.
specifically dopamine and serotonin,
Interesting.
which are basically like little molecules of happiness, creating those feel-good vibes.
Good vibes.
But here's the kicker.
Okay.
When we see someone else doing something, or even just smiling genuinely,
Oh, wow.
our brains release those same chemicals.
Really?
It's like positivity becomes a shared experience.
That's amazing. It really is a shared experience,
Yeah.
and it goes even deeper than that.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of mirror neurons?
Mirror neurons.
Well, I don't think so.
They're these incredible cells in our brains that fire not only when we do something, but also when we observe someone else doing the same action.
That's wild.
So imagine you see someone bite into a juicy lemon.
Your mirror neurons fire as if you were tasting that sourness.
Whoa. Makes sense.
And the more we grow as individuals.
I've always been a fan of the idea that what goes around comes around.
Right.
Especially when it comes to good vibes.
Absolutely.
And speaking of inspiring figures,
Yeah.
there's a powerful quote from Viktor Frankl,
Viktor Frankl.
the Holocaust survivor.
Wow.
He said, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves.
Powerful.
Talk about resilience. It really makes you think about how choosing to be positive, even in the face of incredibly tough times, can be an act of defiance.
Right.
A way to reclaim your power and find hope.
What's so remarkable about Frankl's statement is how it highlights the strength of the human spirit. Even amidst unimaginable suffering.
Yeah.
He recognized that choosing positivity could actually be a form of liberation.
Right.
It's about shifting our focus from what we can't control to what we can control.
Okay.
Our own attitude and outlook.
Right. It's like choosing to find the light, even in the darkest of places.
I like that.
And of course, we can't talk about positivity without mentioning Oprah.
Oh, Oprah.
I mean, who hasn't heard her iconic quote?
Yeah.
When you radiate joy and love,
it
comes back to you multiplied.
That's a good one.
It perfectly sums up everything we've been talking about.
Right?
This idea that positivity is like this amazing force that just keeps expanding and amplifying when we share it with others.
It's true.
But does that really hold up? I mean, how can we know that for sure?
Well, Oprah's quote resonates with so many people.
Yeah.
Because it taps into this idea of a positive feedback loop.
Okay.
Think of it this way.
Right.
Every time we put positivity out into the world, it not only impacts others directly, but it also sets off a chain reaction.
Interesting.
Those people are then more likely to act positively towards others.
Okay.
And so on and so on.
Right.
It's like throwing a pebble into a pond.
Oh, yeah.
And watching the ripples spread outward.
I like that.
Eventually coming back to us in ways we might not even expect.
So we've got science backing up this whole positivity thing.
Yeah.
We've got philosophers throughout history weighing in.
Right.
And we've got Oprah.
Oprah.
But let's get real for a moment.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of people hear all this and think, okay, that sounds great in theory.
Right.
But what about in real life?
You're absolutely right. Seeing is believing.
Exactly.
And that's what we're going to explore next. The real-world ways that positivity plays out in our daily lives.
Okay.
Starting with one of my favorite examples.
All right.
Have you ever heard about those pay-it-forward chains
Oh, yeah, those are amazing.
that happen at coffee shops?
You know where someone buys coffee for the person behind them.
Yeah.
And then that person does the same. And it just keeps going.
It's crap.
It's such a simple act. But it creates this wave of generosity.
I know.
I remember reading about one that went on for something like 100 people.
Exactly. It's a perfect example of what we call upstream reciprocity.
Upstream reciprocity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Think about it.
Okay.
One person's small act of generosity triggers this cascade of kindness.
Wow.
Often reaching complete strangers.
That's really good.
It really shows how even seemingly insignificant actions can have a huge impact.
It's like each cup of coffee becomes the symbol of connection and goodwill spreading outwards.
That's a nice way to put it.
I love that.
I know, it's great.
But I think what really drives this home are the personal stories.
Okay.
The ones where you see how someone's positivity can literally change someone else's life.
Yes.
Speaking of which,
okay.
Do you remember that story about Miss Thompson, the elementary school teacher?
Miss Thompson, oh yeah.
She had this student named Teddy who was really struggling, but instead of giving up on him,
she went above and beyond to encourage and support him.
Oh, Miss Thompson and Teddy.
Right.
That's a classic.
Years later, Teddy became a successful doctor
Perfect.
and wrote to Miss Thompson.
Wow.
Thanking her for believing in him when he didn't believe in himself.
That's powerful.
It's such a powerful reminder of how much our belief in others can impact their lives.
For sure.
And think about it.
Okay.
Teddy, inspired by Miss Thompson's kindness, probably went on to touch countless other lives through his work.
Absolutely.
It's like that ripple effect we talked about earlier, but amplified.
Amplified, yeah.
That one teacher's positivity set off a chain of events that had a ripple effect for years to come.
Yeah.
Pretty incredible.
It is. And it makes you wonder about the ripple effects we create every day, even in small ways.
Yeah.
We may never know the full extent of the impact our positivity has on others.
But that doesn't mean it's not important.
Right.
It's like planting seeds of kindness and watching them grow into something beautiful and impactful.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's true. We often underestimate the power
of
those small, everyday acts of kindness.
For sure.
But I think the challenge for a lot of people is figuring out how to be more positive.
Right.
Especially when life throws curveballs.
Yeah.
It's easy to talk about positivity.
Right.
But how do we actually...
Yeah. How do we actually put it into practice in our daily lives?
That's a great question.
Right.
It is one thing to talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's another thing entirely to live it. Especially when you're dealing with a stressful job or chaos at home.
For sure.
It can feel like positivity is this elusive thing that's always just out of reach.
Totally.
I think the key is remembering that positivity isn't about denying or suppressing negative emotions. It's more about choosing how we respond to them.
Okay. So
we all experience those negative feelings.
Right.
But we have the power to decide whether we let them drag us down or whether we acknowledge them, learn from them, and then shift our focus to what we can control.
So it's not about pretending everything is sunshine and rainbows all the time.
Exactly.
It's more about developing like a toolkit of practices and strategies that we can use when those negative emotions inevitably pop up.
And the good news is that a lot of these tools are really simple and accessible.
Cool.
For example, have you ever noticed how taking a moment to appreciate the good things in your life, even when things are tough, can just shift your whole perspective?
Oh, absolutely. I've found that practicing gratitude can be such a powerful tool for boosting my mood.
I know.
Even on the most challenging days.
Right.
It's like hitting the reset button on my brain.
Yeah.
And focusing on the positive instead of getting bogged down by negativity.
It really is. And it doesn't have to be anything complicated or time-consuming.
Yeah.
It could be as simple as just jotting down 3 things you're grateful for each day.
Okay.
Or taking a moment to savor a beautiful sunset.
I like that.
Or even just expressing your appreciation
to
someone who's made a difference in your life.
It's about focusing on those little things that bring us joy. Right.
Absolutely.
And speaking of little things making a big difference, I'd love to talk about how all of this plays out in the workplace.
No, the workplace.
Let's be honest. Work can be super stressful.
It can be.
But what if we could cultivate more positivity in our offices? Could that actually make a difference?
It absolutely can.
In terms of productivity and employee satisfaction.
There's a ton of research showing that workplaces
Oh, wow.
where positivity is encouraged and nurtured are more successful on multiple levels. Employees are more engaged, they're more productive, and there's even more innovation happening.
So it's not just about feeling good at work. It's about creating a more effective and successful environment overall.
Well, that's exactly right.
But how do we actually make that happen?
Well,
do we need to hire a chief happiness officer and start handing out smiley face stickers?
Well, while those things might help,
it
really starts with leadership.
Okay, so from the top.
When leaders model positive behaviors, things like expressing appreciation, celebrating successes, and focusing on solutions, it creates a ripple effect.
Oh, there it is again.
Throughout the entire organization.
Okay.
People start to feel valued and respected, and that fosters a more positive and collaborative work environment.
So it's that classic lead by example approach where the positivity flows from the top down.
Exactly. And it doesn't require grand gestures or expensive programs.
Right.
It's about those small, consistent actions that show people you care and that you're invested in their well-being.
Makes sense.
Things like acknowledging someone's hard work, offering encouragement during challenging times, and fostering a culture of open communication.
When people feel valued and appreciated, they're naturally going to be more positive and engaged.
What's the idea?
But let's not forget about the most important area of our lives, our homes and personal relationships.
For sure, that's key.
How can we bring more positivity into those spaces, especially when emotions can run high and conflicts are bound to arise?
That's such an important point.
Right.
And it's where the power of forgiveness comes into play.
Forgiveness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Holding on to grudges and resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It just doesn't work.
Right.
It only harms us in the long run and creates distance between us and the people we care about.
I'll admit forgiveness can be incredibly difficult.
Yeah, it can.
Especially when we've been deeply hurt.
For sure.
But you're right. Clinging to anger and resentment just keeps us stuck in a cycle of negativity.
And it's crucial to remember that forgiveness isn't about condoning the other person's actions or pretending the hurt didn't happen.
Right.
It's about choosing to release ourselves from the burden of that negativity so that we can move forward.
It's like breaking free from the chains of resentment and choosing to step into a space of healing and compassion.
Exactly.
And within our families and friendships, practicing gratitude, active listening, and expressing our needs in a healthy way are all crucial for cultivating a more positive and supportive environment.
It's about creating a space where everyone feels heard, respected, and valued.
I love the emphasis on active listening.
Me too.
It's so easy to get caught up in our own thoughts and agendas.
Right.
But taking the time to truly listen and understand the other person's perspective can make all the difference in the world.
It shows that we care.
Yeah.
And that we're trying to see things from their point of view.
It's about creating a space of empathy and understanding, which is essential for any healthy relationship.
Right.
And when people feel safe and supported, they're more likely to express themselves authentically and approach challenges with a more positive and collaborative mindset.
Okay.
But even with all this, there's a bigger question that lingers.
Okay, what's that?
What if everyone actually chose to be more positive? Could we shift the entire global mindset?
Wow. That's a pretty amazing thought.
It's like that famous Gandhi quote, be the change you wish to see in the world.
That's a good one.
If we want to live in a world where positivity is the norm, we have to start by embodying that change ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And while we can't control the actions of others, we can control our own thoughts, words, and actions.
For sure.
We can choose to be that spark that ignites a chain reaction of positivity.
I love that.
Spreading joy, kindness, and hope wherever we go.
I mean, think about it.
Think about it, yeah.
What if every interaction, no matter how small, was infused with a genuine sense of kindness and compassion?
It would be pretty incredible.
Right.
But even though we've covered so much ground, I feel like there's always more to learn about positivity.
Okay.
Like, what about those times when being positive feels forced or even inauthentic?
Yeah.
And are there ever times?
Yeah. Are there times
when negativity might actually be the healthier response?
That's interesting.
Those are great questions.
Yeah.
And they're really important to consider.
For sure.
And that's what we're going to dive into in the final part of our deep dive.
Cool.
We'll explore some of the potential challenges and nuances of positivity, as well as how we can navigate them with wisdom and compassion. Because let's face it, life isn't always sunshine and rainbows.
You know, it's interesting because we often hear the phrase, just be positive, thrown around as if it's the simple solution to every problem.
I know.
But like you mentioned, there are times when forcing positivity can feel inauthentic or even harmful, right?
Absolutely. It's crucial to recognize that authentic positivity isn't about denying the negative aspects of life or pretending that everything is always perfect. It's about acknowledging the full spectrum of human experience.
The full spectrum.
The good, the bad, and everything in between, while still choosing to focus on what uplifts and empowers us.
So it's more about finding that balance.
Yes.
That sweet spot between acknowledging the challenges while maintaining a positive outlook.
Exactly. And there's a real danger in what we call toxic positivity.
Toxic positivity.
Which is when positivity is used to suppress or invalidate genuine emotions.
Interesting.
Imagine someone telling you to just be positive when you're going through a deeply challenging time, like a loss or a major setback. It can feel incredibly dismissive and minimizing,
It's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken bone.
Exactly.
It doesn't address the root of the problem and can actually make things worse by preventing us from processing our emotions in a healthy way.
Precisely. It's so important to remember that true positivity isn't about ignoring or suppressing negative emotions. It's about acknowledging them, allowing ourselves to feel them fully, and then consciously choosing to focus on what we can control. It's about finding ways to move through those challenges in a way that allows us to grow and learn.
It reminds me of that saying, what you resist persists. When we try to push away negative emotions, they often come back even stronger. But if we can approach them with compassion and understanding, we can start to move through them in a healthier way.
That's a great way to put it. And it's also important to remember that everyone experiences and processes emotions differently.
Different for everyone.
What feels uplifting and empowering for one person might feel overwhelming or even inauthentic for someone else.
So it's not about forcing ourselves or others to be positive all the time.
No, not at all.
It's about recognizing that we all have different ways of coping and finding what works best for each individual.
Exactly. And sometimes the most positive thing we can do is simply be present for someone who's struggling, offering a listening ear, and validating their feelings without judgment.
You know, it's so true.
It is.
Sometimes people don't need advice or solutions.
No, they don't.
They just need someone to listen and acknowledge what they're going through.
It's just to be there.
Just being there for someone in their time of need can be the most powerful act of positivity.
It really can. And sometimes being positive means giving ourselves permission to not be okay. To embrace those moments of sadness, anger, or frustration without feeling like we need to immediately fix them or put on a happy face for the world.
It's about acknowledging that it's okay to not be okay.
Exactly.
And that those difficult emotions are a natural part
a natural
of the human experience.
Absolutely. And it's by allowing ourselves to fully experience and process those emotions that we can emerge from them stronger and more resilient.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential pitfalls of toxic positivity and the importance of acknowledging the full spectrum of human emotion. But I think there's one big question that remains. Why does all of this matter?
Why does it matter?
Why should we even bother with positivity?
Well,
when the world can feel so overwhelming and negative at times?
That's a great question. I think it comes down to the simple fact that positivity has the power to transform lives and communities when we choose to focus on the good, to uplift others, and to approach challenges with a solutions-oriented mindset. We create a ripple effect.
There it is again.
That extends far beyond ourselves.
Right.
We become catalysts for positive change.
It's like planting a seed of hope.
Yeah, a seed of hope.
It can grow into something beautiful.
Beautiful, and
impactful.
Impactful, right?
Inspiring others to do the same.
Exactly. And while we may not always see the immediate results of our positivity, every act of kindness, every encouraging word, every effort to make the world a little brighter contributes to a more positive and fulfilling future.
I like that.
Not just for ourselves, but for generations to come.
Wow. That's such a powerful thought.
I think so.
It's like we're all co-creating a more positive world.
Yeah, we are.
One smile. One kind act.
One kind act.
One moment of gratitude at a time.
That's right.
It's inspiring to think about the collective impact we can have when we choose to focus on the good.
And it all starts with each of us making a conscious choice to embrace positivity.
Right.
Not as a way of denying reality, but as a way of empowering ourselves and others to create a world where hope, compassion, and joy prevail.
So as we wrap up this incredible deep dive into the world of positivity, I'm left feeling both energized and hopeful.
Hopeful, yeah.
It's amazing to think about the power we each possess to make a difference, to spread joy. And to create a more positive ripple effect in the world.
I love that.
What final thought would you like to leave our listeners with today?
Imagine a world where every interaction, no matter how small, is infused with a genuine sense of kindness and compassion.
Kindness and compassion,
Where strangers smile at each other. Colleagues celebrate each other's successes. And families embrace each other's differences with love and understanding. What if that world isn't just a dream, but a possibility waiting to be unlocked?
A possibility,
By our collective choice to embrace the contagious power of positivity.
That's a beautiful vision.
I think so.
And one that I think we can all strive towards.
We can.
Even amidst life's inevitable challenges.
Absolutely.
So to all our listeners out there, remember that you have the power to make a difference.
Make a difference.
Choose positivity.
Positivity.
Spread kindness and watch the world transform before your very eyes.
Oh, well.
Until next time, fellow deep divers, keep exploring.
Keep exploring.
Keep questioning.
And keep shining your light.